Well, Mr. James Wan. Man, you outdid yourself this time. This movie, man. Whoo. Yeah, this was a good one. This was a good one. Um, Mal- Malignant. I think is how you say it. Um, it was a very good movie. Very good movie. Um, but let me get into synopsis. Then we're gonna talk about it. Paralyzed by fear from shocking visions, a woman's torment worsens as she discovers her waking dreams are terrifying realities. Welcome everybody to LilBigMan Gaming, both tribe members and YouTube world. We're about to talk about and review the movie Malignant. Um, Directed by James Wan. The first thing I want to say is that the way how he shot this movie, like the angles, the everything, it was like, whoa, I am digging these shots. Like there's a point where the main character is running in the house, and the shot is like basically like the shot is basically from above, and it looked like she was in a maze because like it looked like somebody was on the roof looking down at her with the camera, but you could see it inside each room. Like it was almost like we playing with like one of them kid doll houses that you could take the roof off of, and you could see each room and the little top layer of the door, the top brim of the top of the door, and going over the door into the next room. Like it was shot like that, and it was just like holy crap, that was good. But I think the movie starts off with a flashback to 1996. I want to say was it 96 or 92? I can't remember. It was. I know it was in the 90s. I just can't remember. It was 93 actually. Okay, excuse me. So yeah, we get a flashback to 1993. We're obviously in some mental institution, where a lady is basically giving a video diary entry about a particular patient, and all of a sudden there's a disturbance in the hallway that causes her, like, while she's in the middle of recording, you see her turn and she hears the disturbance, so she gets up and goes to investigate the disturbance. She is told by one of her colleagues that he escaped. So they get to go. They go into with a disturbance that you see some dead already. Some messed up person messed up, and saying that they tried to stop her. And one of the nurses is played by my girl uh from the Mummy and the Mummy Returns. Not Rick O'Connell's wife, but a Knox in the Moon. She's in this movie briefly as the nurse in the beginning. It was good to see. It's always good to see her in the movies. She was in the Curse of Lorena, I think too. But yeah, she played one of the nurses telling her that the patient killed somebody. They said, she was telling her you can't go in there because he's gonna kill you too, and they're like, oh, she's like, get out of my way, and the dude, you see a security guard, he opened like this big case and take out this big tranquilizer gun to get ready to trank the patient, but the patient basically breaks his arm and almost kills him, and they open up the room where the patient is at, and you see like a whole bunch of dead bodies basically, and the doctor lady who was doing that video at the beginning, she basically grabs the trank and shoots the trank. No, shoots the trank in the patient. They able to go in there and grab the patient and strap the dude to the chair, and all they show you is the gown and the boy's socks, the socks. I should say. They strap on, and then you see like a reflection of something disturbing. Like not a reflection. I wouldn't say it was a reflection. You see, like it look like it's behind curtains, and you're like, and she's look. The doctor lady's looking at it, it's like, and she said it's time to cut out the cancer. And then it shifts to present day, where we meet Madison. Madison is pregnant with her third child, and she's basically look like she's coming home early from a shift. She works at the hospital. She's coming home to her husband. Her husband is Derek Mitchell, played by Jacob Bell, aka if you some Supernatural fans out there, you'll know him as the third Winchester brother, Adam. He is playing her not so lovable and abusive, recovering alcoholic husband, and he's basically and then he was watching the MMA fight and text on his phone, and she's basically coming there and she's trying to go get some rest because she said she's not feeling good, and he said, well, he started getting a little, agitated, like, well, maybe you need to quit taking these shifts at the hospital, and it's like it almost like about to break down to an argument. And then they do start arguing. He said, maybe you need to stop having these. And he started poking at her stomach because I guess the multiple miscarriages starting to it took their toll on them, and he's basically blaming her for the miscarriage. And she said, you can't keep doing this. And he's like, I can't keep doing what you trying to say this is my fault. And they get into an argument. He gets mad and basically grabs her head and slams it against the wall so hard that it actually breaks the tile, not the little, I forgot what they, plaster or whatever they use on the wall. Also, I want to point out that even during the daytime, he find a way to make the daytime even creepy. Like the way how he shoots the daytime is creepy, and then when you're in the house, they live in a creepy house. So even during the daytime in this creepy looking house, it looks like the house looks creepy even in the daytime. It looked like a house I would never stay in. I would say that. So yeah, she's bleeding from the back of her head a little bit, and you can see like when she slid to the ground, you can see it wipe on the wall. So he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm going to go get some ice. And he leaves to go downstairs to try to get some ice. And she gets up. She gets the courage to get up and lock the door to make him, and eventually make him sleep. And what happened is a series of events, some of which you saw in the trailer. I would say you saw it in the trailer when you saw him, if you remember in the trailer, you saw him get his head pushed into the wall. Basically, the next series of events lead up to that point, and then basically, she would go to investigate the noise because he heard the noise first and went to go investigate, and then things happened, and then she went to go investigate because she heard it. She wakes up it's so that she's been asleep. Pretty much after she locked the door, she went to sleep. And that when she got up, she noticed that she was still bleeding. I guess she thought she stopped the blood, but she was still bleeding because it was a big, like, not a big, but a big enough noticeable spot of blood on the pillow. And she went to go investigate, and she realized that her husband ain't nowhere to be found or heard, because she knows she heard a commotion. So when she go investigate, she sees a gruesome sight to which something happens, and something basically happens. Attacker ensure. Next you know, she wakes up in the hospital, and she's informed of some bad news. Public service announcement: if you're dealing with abusive relationships, please leave them. It happens to men too, not just women. If somebody's abusing you, they don't love you. They are sick and they need help, and you need to get away. Just want to say, domestic violence is not cool. Anyway, So basically, what happens next is just some gruesome murders, and she gets, that's when we get to the point where she basically starts seeing the murders, and I think it was cool. Like the first one was cool because she didn't know that she was actually seeing it, and the person that she was seeing was like, "Get out of my house," and she's like, "This is my house. You get out." And then she realized after she said that the person wasn't responding to her in that type of situation that you would think, and if she was like, she's looking like, "Wait a minute, we just yelled at each other while you're not yelling back," and then she realized she's not really there. She's seeing what the killer is seeing, and then this will lead her to to the cops, and she's trying to explain everything, and the cops was like, "Are you serious? Like, so what? You're a psychic?" And she's like, "People, her sister's with her. She's like, police consult psychics all the time." Her sister is like an actress, a struggling actress, and she basically brings up how in police shows and movies they always consult a psychic, and they look at her like, "That's only in the movies. We don't really consult psychics for real." And she just like, "Oh." And then they basically try to convince the cops that what she saw was real, and they was like, "Fine, if you don't believe us, if you don't believe us, you could have her committed, and you could take me to jail for as accessory. If you really don't believe us." And this was make this. And they really like this make them look at the two women, because they like, "Y'all dead serious, like you really offering up your freedoms just to make us go investigate." So because Madison, she gives them the exact location of where the crime happens. So they like, "Okay, fine, let's go investigate." That's humoring them, and they humor turns out that they not just humoring some crazy chicks. They humoring a chick that was right, and it scares them a little bit, because they like, this chick was right. She led us exactly to where the murders happened, and exactly she knew who exactly was murdered. She was right about who was murdered, where it happened, where the murder, what was across from the apartment building of the murder site. So this is starting to get freaky for them, and it leads them on like a series of events that would get just stranger and stranger and more gruesome as it goes on. I mean, this movie is good. It gets good. Half the fun of this movie is trying to figure out what's going on and who's Gabriel, and then the other half is what was real and what was not. And what was real and what not was real is not what you're going to think is real. You're not, because the movie will have you believe was like, the movie going to have you going in one direction, be like, okay, obviously they trying to say this wasn't really real, but then you find out, oh, it really was real. And then the thing that you thought wasn't real was actually was the real stuff, and the thing that you wouldn't think was real, or what you think couldn't be real, was actually going on. So it's like they flip it. And the thing that had me hooked was that after so many twists and turns, after so many points when doing the big reveal, like it took you so many places. Like you're asking yourself, "Man, what's going on?" And it was so good, because if you pay attention to the movie, you know that they doing the same stuff. They trying to figure out what's going on too. And the reveal is crazy. The reveal is very crazy. Or what's really going on, and why this and that, why certain things happen, what Gabriel was doing, why Gabriel is doing what he's doing to her, and how he's doing it to her. It's all just one big, like, holy, yeah. This movie was good, man. Even the ending was good. It was all good. All of it was good. And even, like, you know how in the Marvel movies, in they trailers, they always have something in the trailers that wasn't really real, like the Hulk in Infinity War, Hulk running with Captain America, and then when we found out it really was Bruce Banner and the Hulk bust the armor, and that the scene with the Hulk was actually in the beginning of the movie. Like that type of misdirect, they actually do it James Wan does this in the movie. It's a scene that that he wholly misdirected you with. You don't even realize it. You won't realize it until the big reveal, unless you're smarter than me and figure it out. But for me, I didn't realize it until the reveal that the scene, earlier scene, was totally not real. That was what you saw. What you saw was not real. It was a misdirect to keep you from figuring out what was going on. And it wasn't even like Gabriel trying to trick them or trick anybody. It was actually just the director said, we're going to put this scene in here, but this scene is not really real. This is just something I'm going to throw the audience off. So it was like the acting and everything was good, man. I really enjoyed it. The only thing, I had two negatives, but the one negative was the one of my original negatives was going to be that a certain thing was happening to Madison, and you didn't know if it wasn't directly linked to what was causing it, and you don't really realize what's happening until the big reveal. And even when it's happened, the character just blurts this out. A character just blurted out, and it was just like, wait a minute, this was never stated in the whole movie. Even when this character blurts out, it's not stated in the whole movie at all. And then you're like, wait a minute, hold up. And then I had to watch it twice to realize because they never showed you it and never stated it. They made reference to it to where the big reveal helped you piece together what she was talking about. So you had to be like, you just had to take what you saw, take that big reveal, and take what she blurred out, put it together to solve the mystery of what she was talking about, what this person was talking about. But that once I figured that out, that became a positive because it was like that was good misdirected directing. But my only real negative was that the female cop, or one of the main characters of the female cop, she was basically overbearing and annoying to me because she was like the typical character in the movie that when something happened that you can't explain, something supernatural or whatever, she's like the person who was going to be skeptical to the basically end where she's got to accept that what's happening is beyond normal. And no matter what was happening, what you basically had to admit by now, she wouldn't admit it until basically this awesome sequence that happened in this police station that was the most gruesome, brutal thing I ever seen in my life. That's finally when she goes, "Oh yeah, now I believe." Like you basically put us through this whole thing in the movie where she's basically making these corny jokes about not believing it until the very end. And then by that time, like, you should have been believed because it was proof. It was proof throughout the whole movie that this was basically real and that it was nothing to disbelieve. Even your partner began to believe after a while. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I give this movie 10 big ups. I'm definitely buying it, definitely rewatching it because this was a good movie. And I suggest you go to theaters, watch it on HBO Max. Do what you got to do because this is a good movie. Go watch it. Because I left off some meaty chunks of stuff. I left out a lot. But go watch it. Enjoy it. If you enjoyed this review, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you really enjoyed it and want to support the channel and become part of the family, part of the tribe, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos. And as always, hit any one of these videos with more of my amazing content. Be safe. Be good, because I got some gameplay videos coming for y'all later on today. But that's it. Peace out.